Good morning and welcome to Reverend Jackie Robinson from inside our home, our rectory, rather than the church background, as the weather forecast was snowing heavily in places. But I'm so glad that you can join us and so glad you don't have to go out if the snow is heavy. It's wonderful that so many of you have joined us again. And I'm very pleased to announce that our medium, Barbara Potts, is here with us this morning. And I'm going to ask Barbara if she will begin the service with an opening prayer. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Jackie. Welcome, everyone. Please join me in prayer. We welcome you to our service today and thank our guides and helpers who are ready and willing to come forward with their love and support. Thank you to our family members and friends in spirit who are gathered here to connect with their loved ones and offer their love and upliftment. We leave this service in your capable hands, in love and light. Amen.
Thank you very much, Barbara. And now, keeping with a healing theme, we'll be shortly going into our healing moments. So all of the healers that are out there that keep their regular lists, and all of those that are not necessarily aware that they are trained healers, all have that ability to send out positive healing to individuals that they know and to the individuals that I'm going to list. And we had quite a long list of names on our Wednesday class. And I know that once we've said the names, they go into that beautiful healing area for the healing angels, to take the names and do the work. So I want to just list a few other names that we've been given since then. We had a lady that was expecting the baby, and she was a few weeks early, but baby was in distress, so she was given an emergency C-section last night. So Pooja and baby, for Amber, for Jill, for Rachel, for Holly, for Stephen Kelly, for Paul, who's very poorly, and Tony, that was taken ill this morning and taken to hospital. So these individuals, as well as the list from Wednesday and all the other lists that you all have, want you to just spend just a few moments. But I also want you to think of yourselves as well, because we don't think of one another and we have to think of our own mental well-being. It's a tough month, January. It's the weather keeps us a bit low in our spirits. We've been cooped up now for, at least 6 weeks, some of us for even longer. And there's no Christmas to look forward to, but there is Easter, there is the spring, there is that knowing that in another month or so that we will have beautiful spring weather. We may still have the odd wintry day, but we just have to think of this time next month. We just have to think of all of those spring buds of flowers that will come through the ground, and think of that as us coming out from lockdown, that we also will spring forth like a wonderful snowdrop or a lovely crocus or a daffodil. But if we can just close our eyes, if we can just imagine ourselves in the sunshine, have that wonderful glow of yellow surrounding us. And I want you to join a circle of people. Those individuals, if you are attending a church or used to attend a church before lockdown, imagine all their faces. Imagine holding hands with them and joining a huge circle. Imagine the biggest circle of people from all around the world that join us on our virtual service. Imagine yourself going around the world in its entirety. And now imagine electricity from your fingers, positive energy from your fingertips. Feel it as raindrops on your head. Imagine that energy in the middle of this circle, and now send it forth to all the areas that it needs to go. Thinking of all of those that are on the front line, still working night and day, those in vaccination centres, those in testing centres, those in intensive care bed setups, those that are in hospitals for all other reasons, all the other different illnesses and conditions that take people into hospital. Ask for that healing energy to surround them as a pink comfort blanket. All of our doctors, our nurses, our police, our firemen, everyone, our postmen still delivering our post, our people in supermarkets delivering to those supermarkets, keeping food where it needs to be, all in that line, all there for us so that we can stay safe. Give healing to all of those in need, but feel that healing for you. Feel it go from the head down to the toe, and feel that outpouring of love to everyone you know and everyone you don't know, to the animal kingdom that find it difficult foraging for food during these harsh conditions, for all the storms that are causing havoc all around the world, the flooding that's happening in France, the weather in Germany, the really strange weather systems that are going on at this moment. And let's just have a few seconds of silence as we think of those in need. And take in a deep breath. And as you do, inhale that which is good for you. And exhale slowly that which is not good for you anymore. All feelings of negativity. Inhale the positive energy. And know we are so close to being where we want to be. Just one more push, just one more month, and we will see a much better spring. Now it's time to come back, to leave our circle in the sunshine, and to have your feet firmly on the ground again, sitting in your front room, your lounge, your recliner chair, or even your bed under a duvet, as some people have said this morning on WhatsApp with the family members. And what I want to do is just say a couple of hellos to family members. And I've seen Mum Taz's name on the WhatsApp, so it's nice to see her name again, and to wish a happy morning for Shirley, who I know watches, and George and Jim, and I'm sure Owen's probably one of the first that came on. So I'm just going to ask Richard if he'll just put a few of the names up. And Anthony Lapsey, lovely to see that you're with us this morning, Anthony. It'd be lovely when we see you again. And a Kerry Setchell, and she said that she would love to receive some healing. She's really struggling at the moment. So Kerry is sent to you. And Tori and Maureen and Steve, healing please, Shirley is asking. So add those names. And Dawn, lovely to see you again. Fellow light worker, God bless the healing prayers. And Rita Gonzalez, if I'm saying that correct, lovely to see you, Rita, joining our service this morning. And Karen Goddard, lovely to see you, Karen. I know it's not been the easiest time for you. And Shirley saying a good morning to Ray, myself, Richard. And Rosemary Canavan, good morning, Rosemary. Lovely to see you. And Tranquil Times Yoga, good morning to you. And I know that it was Buddha's anniversary last week. And Sylvie Freestone, it's lovely to hear from you this morning, Sylvie. It really is nice to know that you're able to watch the service. And to Julie, lovely seeing you here this morning. And I want people to get their Serenity prayer ready if they've got the words. And Bernie, lovely to see you. And hope that you're keeping safe as well. So that's lovely. And we have an east coast of the USA with Jeannie Rose, and hope I'm saying that right. It's really early. I know you have to get up extra early for being on the east coast, 5 hours prior to us, or earlier than us. And Phil's saying good morning to us all, so good morning. And Owen, I knew you'd be there watching, Owen, so it's lovely to see your name as well. And Jim, good morning. Glad that you're with us. So many of our regulars and also others that are joining us for the very first time. So we will try and do some names a little bit later. And Linda Parry from, I think it's up near Newcastle. So lovely for you, Linda. I hope the weather is being kind to you. And somebody that's called Tara with Ghost of Karmic Healers. And they are also having a rough time. And sometimes when we're feeling that we're having a rough time, that's the time that we sometimes feel that we're actually alone. But that's the time when we have to think of the words of the Grant Me Serenity prayer, and also the one for the footsteps in the sand. So if you've got a chance of getting a copy of that, but you're also saying you have felt a huge positive shift. I'm very glad to be here for the first time. But do look up the poem with the footprints in the sand. And I'm going to now say the Serenity prayer. And Helen, hello to you. So God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And when I say that, I often think of King Canute down, on the sea's edge, where everyone thought that he could perform miracles and he could turn the tide away from him. And you have to go with the tide rather than against the tide. That's the important thing. And that's really the words of the Serenity prayer. Understanding what you can't change. And if you can't make the sea turn back. Oh, Carol, it's lovely to see you this morning. Haven't heard from you for ages. So it is lovely to see you. But as I say, no, with the words of the Serenity prayer and the footsteps. And our son Ashley is sending us some love, light and laughter. And so it's lovely that you're able to join us, because I know the two boys keep you busy every minute of the day. And I had them overnight on Friday to Saturday. So I really remember what it was like to be a parent, but I was in my 20s then and not 60. Okay, so we've said some lovely words with the Serenity prayer. So my next thing to do is actually mention our collection via PayPal. And whichever way, and you can do a recurring payment on PayPal. I've just been finding out from Richard as well. So you don't have to give bank details then. It just can come from a card. And that's on the www.paypal.com, PayPal me, LAD proms. And, if you want to set up a direct debit, then you can always, ring us up, text us, go to any of our pages and make contact. Because we still have all of our normal bills at church, and we still have to keep some heating on so that our pipes and things don't freeze. And we just paid out a £600 gas bill for the last quarter. And we've got some roofing problems as well at both of the churches. So still lots of expenses, and our church account's only been going in one direction lately. Now we've said some names. So what I'm going to do now, there's a book of mine, which is one of my favourites to read from. And it's the NZAC Spiritualist Manual. It's an American manual, and it's similar organisation really to the equivalent of the SNU in England. Cheryl, yes, you can send a cheque. Yeah, that would be wonderful. You can always give us a ring or a text, and any donations would be extremely, extremely acceptable. Now, with so many people passing back to the spirit world, I was struck on a page when I was looking for inspiration for a reading, and it's called Death, the Gateway to Life. Let us consider the mission of death. Millions through the ages have beheld death with terror. Let us dispel the gloom. O death, thou givest a broader liberty, a more glorious freedom to the soul. The door of thy castle swings inward, noiselessly, openly, upon enchanted chambers, radiant with unwonted light and glory, such as earth have never known. Thou kissest down the eyelids in sleep, O death, and dost imprint upon the lips the seal of immortality. Beautiful indeed at the gentle touch have been the awakening into new experiences. not into a new life, but into a new individual experience. For it is the same life that has, unfortunately, kept its march through the ages, and thou bringest its fuller realization. New fields, O human soul, lie upon before thee. Loftier heights than ever thy feet have scaled stretch up and on before thee. Death hath not robbed thee of thy treasures. All the good thou hast done, all the noble thoughts thou hast expressed, live and are with thee still. O death, thou holdest within thy hands the key which unlocks the door of space and time. Art thou bereft of friends and loved ones? Doth sorrow rest heavily upon the aching head? And doth thy tired spirit seek for rest? Thou art not alone. Thy friends and loved ones were never so nearer to thee as now. All fetters broken, thy friends can draw nearer to thee now than ever before. The sweet communion of spirit with spirit shall cool thy fevered, aching brow, and assure thee thy lurking sorrow. Thy heart bowed down shall beat again with lightness and with ecstasy. Rest shalt thou find, O soul, in the midst of thy sorrow, and thou shalt hold divinest communication with kindred spirit. What more exalting and uplifting than the communion and fellowship of emancipated spirits? In silence, souls speak to souls. Through leaps forth without sound, intelligence is transmitted upon gentle waves of ether. Thou hast, thou, O soul, realized the relationship with external spirits. The spirit of man is indestructible, his soul immortal, his individuality everlasting. Therefore, let us not mourn and lament over death, for death is the gateway of life. May the understanding of our minds and the meditation of our hearts and the obedience of our will to the still, small voice within lead us to live our spiritualism with fidelity and fearlessness. So let us think on those words, not in a depressed way, but in a opening up of our senses, that there's life after life, that death is merely a change of that energy, that physical energy, into that immortal energy, and that no one dies alone. So if you are bereft of someone that you have held dear, that they have been in a hospital and you have not been able to be with them, as so many haven't at this time, know that their room would have been filled to the brim with all of their friends and family that are residing in heaven. There would have been a wonderful light around them and surrounding them, and there would have been hands of friendship opening up to the hands of that individual that has needed to leave their earth body because their earth body was too tired and exhausted because of disease. So understand that they would be carried off with their loved ones in a state of bewilderment, absolutely knowing that they are not just nothingness, that they are still alive and that they are around their loved ones. So just think of those words in that and know that that is the fundamentals of our religion. But our religion is far more than death, because we're not obsessed by death, but rather by the understanding that our life in front of us is the important mission of how we live our spiritualism within our lifetime, what walk we make. We have the global footprint, we have the spiritual footprint. Doesn't matter what religion you are on earth, because there's no religion in the great heaven above, but it's about the difference that you make and the way you live your life. So go forward and live that life with positive energy, knowing the importance of a life well lived. Thank you for being with me while I read that. I know it may be a little bit heavy on a Sunday morning, but sometimes it's important with the fundamentals of what spiritualism is all about. And we now ask for Barbara to give an address, which doesn't have to be on my reading. So, but I hope that you also, saw some words within that are what we are, but what we're proud to be. So over to you, Barbara.
Thank you, Jackie. You can hear me okay? That was a beautiful reading. Thank you, Jackie. And the additional words of comfort that you've given us are deeply moving and very supportive. We need to know that we are not alone. That is the message that I carry in my heart. And it is comforting to know that our loved ones who have been isolated from us have not passed away from us and transitioned alone. It is extremely comforting. And I'd like to go on a little further with my words today. To really, I love the Serenity prayer and the fact that it is said at the beginning of your service. It touches my heart, and it is very applicable to our daily circumstances, is it not? Where we are really drawing on all our reserves, our strength and courage and fortitude. And of course, many people are coping well. They have a routine. They're making the best of these days and walking in positive steps forward. But they cannot always maintain this positivity. They need support. Like, we're human beings. We cannot always be this perfectly perfect person who copes with all the trials and tribulations. And to give thought to people that are not able to function so well when there are changes in their circumstances. And so let me concentrate again back on the Serenity prayer, that God grants me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it means really that we ought to try and correct the things in our life that cause us some anxiety or anger, if we're able to. And if we're not able to, then we shouldn't carry the burden. It's specifically for people who want to break their bad habits, change their ways, and accept the things that cannot be changed. It provides simple wisdom for complicated people and puts the focus on acceptance and action. The Serenity prayer is a prayer for everyone. It's brilliant in its simplicity. It's one of the key spiritual tools used by virtually all 12-step programs, in case you didn't know, in their recovery groups. We do not have control over people, places, and things. And this is something to bear in mind as we struggle with all the changes that have been thrown at us on a daily basis at the moment. What blocks some people from achieving serenity is their intense desire to achieve a sense of absolute control, one that is simply not possible for us to do as human beings. This need for control can be an attempt to control the behavior of others, a strategy that we cling to despite its repeated failure. The prayer instead points us to examine our inner life. We cannot directly control our feelings. However, we can influence our feelings through what we can control, our thinking and our actions. By focusing on this, we can attain the final quality promised by the Serenity prayer, and that is courage. Courage to keep going, one day at a time. There are 3 requests in the prayer: to accept, to have courage, and to have wisdom. It is praying for an understanding and acceptance of the things we cannot control, and having the courage to change the things we can. It is also about asking for help, because certain problems cannot be handled on our own. And here we have the wonderful Wimbledon Church, who extend their hand of friendship to all of us, to all of you, virtual audience, who need to just share and have somebody who has a caring and sympathetic ear. Finally, it's asking for wisdom to know the difference, accepting the uncomfortable and moving forward in peace. The answers to this prayer will not come easily, and it will be needing active participation from the person saying it. So if we break the prayer down, acceptance. The Serenity prayer reminds us that acceptance is the key to happiness. There are many things we have no power over, and don't we know it during these difficult times? Trying to fight against or resist the way things are is a waste of energy and only ever leads to suffering. Serenity comes with acceptance. Courage. Change requires courage because it's taking a step into the unknown. Courage is required to keep on making the necessary changes that will lead to a better life. The reason why so many people settle for suffering is fear. And fear is an acronym, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with FEAR. False evidence appearing real. Fear implies anxiety and sometimes a lack of courage. Now, wisdom. The wisdom to know the difference may come from prayer and meditation, or by talking to others, as I mentioned earlier. It's empowering to know when to make a change and when to let go. For so many of us in desperate situations, seeking peace, strength, and wisdom, these simple words, whispered to our God of our understanding, can see us through our darkest hours. We come to believe that the qualities expressed in the prayer can come only from a power greater than ourselves. And when we believe, we can find the serenity, courage, and wisdom we seek from somewhere outside ourselves to face another situation, another step, and another day. The Serenity Prayer is a wide door that's open to all people of all faiths and backgrounds. Those amongst us who live with this prayer discover how to strike a dynamic balance between acceptance and change. This gift is precious, and it's one that we can enjoy for a lifetime of serenity. So I'm going to end on saying that feeling serene doesn't have to strip us of passion, of other strong dynamic feelings. It offers us a sense of inner security that frees us to live life fully. It taps into an unlimited source of energy and wisdom, a higher power. It's then possible to make strong choices and take risks, because with this help, we are better able to deal with anything that life throws our way. And amen to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And, I think that was lovely. I don't know if that's something that people can get on the internet, or it can be, put somewhere, or if it's something that, you created yourself for the address. But I think that would be lovely for people to be able to get. So I'd love a copy if you've, got a copy. And I love the explanation of fear as well. I think that's lovely. I shall remember that one. The false evidence appearing real, because that's happening in so many places, and it makes me so sad, because I can't see why people want to spread such, false knowledge that puts people off from having vaccines and making them safe and things. So that was a really lovely, and I know from some of the remarks have said that they didn't know that about the Serenity Prayer. I did. We have a group that used to meet in Hackbridge that we hired out on a Saturday, and they used the Serenity Prayer. I had to stop coming because of lockdown, and also because it was a group that were anonymous. They didn't really want to write their names down. But I'm hoping that they'll be back with us later in the year. And we've started to use the Serenity Prayer rather than the Lord's Prayer as a regular event, because it's got some very powerful words. And as I say, there are some really lovely remarks that people are putting to thank you for the address. As I say, and just how inspiring and meaningful. So there's many people that are loving that. So you have to get a chance to have a look at some of those words a little bit, later after the service, because it's very nice when you get that feedback. You don't always get that feedback when you're physically at a church, because by the time you finish the service, they've forgotten what an impact it made. So it's lovely to be able to look back and, on those remarks, and that it's made a difference to people. And that's our role at this moment, is to give inspiration to individuals, and that positive, and the Serenity prayer couldn't be, I think, more positive. So that's really wonderful. Okay, now, if I can just give you just a few seconds of getting yourself ready for the next part of the service, so that you can have a moment, to yourself, then what I'll do is just mention to everybody that, thanks for joining us. It's the first time that you've ever joined us. And for those that have been regulars for almost a year now that we've been going, but there is a small delay of about 15 seconds or so with some devices and, being on the YouTube. So therefore, remember that. So sometimes Barbara may be asking you for evidence or something, and then she'll be going on to the next piece. So when you're replying, try to say, yes, I'm replying to X, Y, and Z, so that we know what you're saying yes to. And also, because there are so many of you out there, we do tend to find that we get the 2-for-1 offers, where Spirit are using the chance to reach more than one person with the same message. But we have to then get the specific information so that we can see who the message mainly is for. But if you can accept a part of a message, then do take that healing and that love, because your loved ones are all around you. If we could be on air for the next 6 months, 24/7, we wouldn't get round to everyone that needed a message. So the important thing is to take what you can, but to be quick on the button to say, yes, you can take it, and then no when you think, no, it isn't for you, because something isn't quite sounding right. And please remember to still give your love in the way that you respond. You may think, well, you can't hear me, but even give love in the typing that you do, because if those family members came to your front door, you'd greet them with love. So type with that love and that positive attitude, and also open up the box, because it could be your partner's family that are coming, it could be a friend. We can't do requests. It can't always be the one person you were hoping to get a message from, because it's their free will. We don't conjure up anyone. We don't do any kind of disturbing people. It's their will and their love for you that means they want to come, and they're in that waiting room, waiting in the hope that Barbara will then work with them. So please give all your love and attention over to Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. Yes. And Richard's just reminding us, if you can like and share as well, because then it means that there are some people that come onto here just because they're friends, are friends of somebody else that comes on here. And then that way we spread it to people, and we can give that much comfort to others in just being able to do that simple thing of sharing and sending love. Thank you. Okay, Barbara, over to you.
Right, thank you, Jackie, and welcome to you virtual audience from all over the world. And isn't it wonderful to be gathered here today and know that we are a collective group? We are anticipating messages from loved ones, and I'm talking and feeling energy building up, and so I will be describing, I will be giving evidence of who is being presented, who is happily here to connect, and I appreciate the time delay, so I may keep chatting on about your loved one while you have time to catch up and respond to me. And I'm sensing a lovely lady, a lovely elderly lady, and she has a very, very looks pure white hair, quite a good amount of this lovely white hair, and she's very petite, small features. You will remember her as being gracious and gentle, and with a smile on her face. And as she was aging and becoming more bent down, but still mobile, I'm sensing. I don't see her lingering in a bed, and but that may have happened. But that the way she's preferring to be seen is when she still showed up with that lovely welcoming smile. And I would say that she is connecting to a lady in the audience. I feel that she's a grandmother figure, but not necessarily. She might have been an elderly mother, because she comes through with motherly love. And she would be a lady that turned up on your doorstep, came round to visit, rather in her advancing years, came round to just to keep your morale up. And she wants to speak today to her loved one to carry on uplifting you and keeping up your morale. So we're connecting with someone who has been feeling down in the dumps and struggling to stay positive at times, and missing this lovely motherly love. And I'm going to reassure you that she is still here. So can anyone take... yes, oh, okay. I'm going to wait and see who is responding to this. But she was very inquisitive. So I know whoever I'm going to connect with has that very strong bond of curiosity about life. So Tina, I believe, sounds like a lady I called mother. Okay, let's continue. Somebody that would pop round, as I said, with I believe you were correct me if I'm wrong, possibly a young mother when she used to visit you, and struggling to keep it together. As Joe, sounds like your paternal grandmother. I'm not always great with names, but I'm getting an Elsie connected somehow within your group of relatives, an Elsie. But I'm also getting a connection with this lady watching Coronation Street. She was of that era when Elsie Tanner, I'm being told, was prominent on the screen. So I'm hoping that will help with a little bit more evidence that she was an avid watcher of the original Coronation Street, when and they had the beautiful music, and she's a very happy soul. And so Tina, I'm still connecting with you, and is it can you let me know, Tina, whether she came round to lift your spirits, because that's something that you're currently needing, this booster. Not to say you're unhappy, but you're having these moments where you would love her to pop in and treat you like her daughter. So Tina, I'm just going to wait for the time delay to see whether that resonates with you. And I see her carrying a basket as well, like very old-fashioned she was. Some type of open basket that she would bring a few bits and pieces round. Not that she had a lot of money, she's saying, but she would bring around some home produce, I think. Okay, so this sounds right, Tina. So this lovely mum to you. Elsie, Christine. So when we have these links where, because we're on this type of service, it's good to reach out to as many people as possible in one go, and it's not surprising I'm connecting with more than one person. So please take what is being said personally for you, and leave the rest, as they say. So she's coming forward as I say, upliftment and cheer, and cheer because she was one to welcome the Christmas festival as well. She was very much devoted to the celebrations of holiday times, almost in a, not that she was a pagan, but she was very connected to nature, instinctively connected to the way things worked and the changing of the seasons. And so she would love to celebrate. Thanks, Joe. Still, that's great that it sounds like your grandmother as well. She would celebrate the Christmas festival, and Easter, of course, was very significant to her. And Phil, so okay, right, the Corrie Watcher, Phil, yeah, that was very relevant. And the Elsie, all right, and used to bring sweets and cakes. That's definitely connecting with you as well, Phil. Yes, we'll take that, Phil. So this is your message that she's bringing you. All right, thank you, Tina. Well, I believe the beginning of the message was for you, but I'm now moving on with Phil. And Phil, you've needed this upliftment recently, and as I say, it's not because of a depression. It's more of a physical tiredness that has come over you at times, where you want to do things, but you've been drained of some energy. And this lovely lady used to be so uplifting, and that's her role in today, is coming forward with this sort of recharging your batteries, and knowing that she's got this wonderful healing spirit that is coming forward into your energy, and she's working with you when you do give out healing, of which you do much of, she's saying. And she's going to draw away now, and she's honoured to have had the privilege to have spoken to you today. So thank you, Phil. I have a younger woman coming forward, and I'm just waiting for her to it's like clear the mist of her passing, which was quite a melancholy time for her. Thank you, Phil. I'm pleased she's still keeping you going. You're welcome. So this lady is much younger. She's shown herself, I believe, and don't quote me, but I'm going to give an age bracket, because I don't want you to be put off by an age and think this message isn't for you. But I'm sensing between late 50s, 60, perhaps, when she passed, and quite despondent. I'm sensing that she had some health issues in that direction of, and it's quite appropriate that she's come forward today, because we have been talking about the need to support each other when we are struggling with challenging times, and she indeed did struggle with the issues that she was actually lived a lifetime of, a sort of a type of depression and anxiety, but more of that, but greater than that at times. I'm sensing the person she's going to is linking with would have been raised with this mother who was inclined to be emotionally detached and not able to give as much as she now knows from her advantage point of being in the spirit world, is now knowing that she was unable to provide this support emotionally. But she's saying that you do. Thank you, Bernadine. It sounds like your mum. Let's carry on. I love your mask, by the way. Let's carry on with the fact that it would have been challenging for you, your childhood and teenage years, knowing that your mum was different. Once you were old enough to realise the differences with your friends, and Rosemary as well. All right, let's carry on. So her main impact on you was when she was in her 40s, and Lenka, sounds like your auntie. All right, let's thank you for your response. It's wonderful, all of you. So you would have memories of her, I believe, whatever age you were when she was in her 40s, and when she was meant to be helping out, perhaps in the school, and being part of your childhood. You know, you're part of excuse me, part of supporting you through your teenage years. You know, you could have done with this support, and it was a role reversal. You'd come home, and I see her lying on the couch. Oh, okay. Another young lady stepping forward to say, "This sounds like your emotionally detached mother." Yes. Yes, and if you can take the fact that she passed, definitely not in her elderly years. I don't see her making 70. I see her as she had no love of life, really. Okay, thank you. You could have done with the support earlier. Hotify me. Right. And she's taken advantage of today's message to say that to work with me as a medium, because she wasn't able in her human experience to identify with people, and I don't believe she would have found it easily to ask for counselling and help. She was oh, your auntie, right? Yes, lost her love of life. That's exactly it, and it would have been very upsetting for her family. So if this is indeed your auntie, Hotify me, then dying on her own would have been, as I saw her lying down, and Lenka, of course, I'm being told that you can also identify with this. So oh, Lenka. Oh, I see. Thank you. Lenka, I believe, is your name. That's much more personal. Right. So I believe that if you're still in contact with her direct family members, who are also your family members, being as she was your auntie, that she would want you to pass on this message. And I'm speaking in a very stilted way, which I feel that she would have done, a very stilted, slow way, slow and guarded. And this would have been quite a prominent way that you would remember her, that she didn't have emotion in her voice. It was robotic, and quite distressing for her family as she was slowing down and losing her grip on reality, I believe. And she is quite happy to describe this to you, to pass on to her family, because she is now coming from this love and light place of healing that she has been able to obtain, and she is really well and upbeat. And I think you will notice that my tone now is lightening and speeding up, and I want to reassure you, Lenka, that she is very well and very happy and balanced and grounded and all these good things that we want for our loved ones. And so, yes, you are in contact with her sister, and please pass on, if it is appropriate to do so, that yes, you say her family couldn't deal with her. She understands that, and she wants to say that please let them know that they did no wrong. She understands completely the position that they were put in. She comes from a point of love now, and she wants to pass on this via you to them and let them know that all is well, and that there should be no guilt. She hopes there is no guilt that they left her to deal with this illness on her own. She made her choices, and they were, as I said earlier, powerless over that. And so please take her blessings, and thank you for working with me, Lenka. So we're going to see who's, I have another lady, and let's see, she's gets ladies night so far, or ladies day, and she's an elderly lady, and she's very I'm starting to straighten myself up. I'm not sensing any illness to pass on to you at the moment, to how she passed. She's letting me know that she was very sprightly and upright and physically fit, well into her 70s, late 70s, and she was very cheerful, upbeat. So I love the fact she's coming forward to whoever she's going to link with to say that she is bringing through this motherly love again. Now she's stumbling over her words, so I'm sensing that towards the end of her life she would have had some difficulty in communicating, and some difficulty in stringing words together to make a sentence, and it was frustrating for her and for the family, obviously, but she was shown great love, and she's so grateful for that. And she came through with her first impression of being so upbeat as she had been before she aged into these when you start to lose she's laughing now, so she has a great sense of humor as well, and I think she had a comedic timing, she's letting me know. So I'm going to link with somebody who has a sense of comedic timing as well, and who's a great one, can tell jokes, very appreciated for their jokes, for the timing. And if you're not already, so whoever I'm going to be working with, if you're not already working with comedy and the spoken word to an audience, then it's going to be suggested to you that that's the way forward for you, because you take after this elderly lady who's coming forward and saying that she's a grandmother, a mother, and an auntie. So she was a lot of things to a lot of people. And I'm sensing that she is not necessarily, or did not necessarily live all her life in the UK, or the other way round. If she's coming from the States, then she would not have necessarily lived all her life in the States. But for a brief moment, she left what was her hometown briefly, and then returned back again. I'm being given Pennsylvania as a connection, but again, don't. So Wendy, hello. Right, sounds like your nan. Now, can you and Stace, can you take a connection with America, and Pennsylvania? Possibly, I've said it. I'm not always right with my names, but if that helps you to identify this lovely lady, she's very dignified, but when you get to know her, she had, she's saying a raucous, which is a word I don't often use, sense of humor. Now, Wendy, you're saying not States, but possibly somewhere in the family there is a connection to Pennsylvania, or that part of America. So we'll carry on, because let's see, she's she mentioned the comedy. So Wendy, I can see your photo, and you look like you are a great deal of fun, I'll have to say, from your photo. So was Australia, Stace, but not America, but America she went to, and you have friends in America. All right, so I'm going to carry on letting this. Now, I'm also getting the name of Bernadette coming in, but I feel like it's more Saint Bernadette. But if you can take it as a link with your family as well, please do. But Saint Bernadette is quite relevant for this connection. So somebody who prayed to the saints, which indicates perhaps a Catholic faith, but not necessarily, because she. I'm also getting some Irish. I mean, don't we all? But some Irish connection as well in her ancestry, not immediate family, but ancestry, and of course. That is the way for people that have gone, especially overseas, to live, great explorers. So, but again, it was the comedic aspect that she wanted to really impress on the person that she's directly speaking to. That you have a gift for bringing humour into situations. So you are a healer. You're a healer because your words uplift people, and you are or would be gifted with people that are transitioning, that people who are in that time of life where I sense that you would work really well within that care hospice situation, where it is not always necessary to connect all the dots and tidy your life up before you pass over, but it's also necessary to bring some lightheartedness into the daily grind of when, as she's now saying, in that situation of knowing that she was sort of stuck in that departure lounge feeling of, well, it's not going to get any better, so I may as well prepare for the inevitable. Right, so I have another contact, tarot with the ghost of a karmic healer. Sounds like your great-grandmother Mona. I've actually not heard anyone say that they can take the Catholic link and the saints as being important as her faith, but maybe that. All right, okay. So Jeannie, hello. Right. So your stepmother lived in Pennsylvania and was a Catholic. Now that is definitely part of the evidence I gave. So thank you to everyone else. I feel like I am with Jeannie. Also tarot with ghost, your grandmother. Right, Mona was born in Pennsylvania. So, right, so we have two people who can, but specifically now to let you know that you are gifted with people that are in the final, working and helping out with people in care homes or hospices that need your energy, your sort of devil may care. Life is not so serious all the time, that we need to have some fun. You have that type of, you take after her in that way, that it's important to see the positive side of life, even when we're in our darkest moments, to just see a glimpse of light at the end of a tunnel. And so Jeannie, your stepmother was a Catholic, and you can be a wise guy, and a sort of a smart ass. Well, that sounds like the type of person that's fun to be around when life gets heavy. So well done to you. And can you take the fact that you have that healing gift and may not necessarily have expanded on it yet because you're too busy earning a living or attempting to in these times of whatever your position is with your employment. So let's see. She's talking about the autumn being relevant to you, an autumn birthday. Perhaps she would call it the fall, and she's talking about September, October, November as being relevant for birthdays, anniversaries in your family. And we'll see. I'm just waiting for the link for the actual communications from you. Yes, I can, Tarot with Ghost, I can see your comments. I can read them very well, thank you. And I appreciate the fact that you're linking with this lady as well. She's mentioning a ring, her I believe her wedding ring that she left with when she passed over. That ring is still with a family member, and is quite a wide ring. It's not an old-fashioned thin wedding band. It's quite a substantial ring, and I felt she wore it proudly, and that she was not in a relationship. She didn't have a partner. She was on her own for several years before she was taken away over, and so it would have been a time for her of survival, and that's the message today for a lot of us, that we are needing to adapt to different circumstances. And so can anybody identify with a woman who was either widowed or divorced for several years of the remainder of her life, but was very independent when she was out and about? She adjusted to her independent lifestyle, and she knows that... Pardon me? No, I haven't. I'm still with the same lady, yes. Because I didn't, even though a few people in the audience could, like Jeannie. All right, so Jeannie, your husband and your son passed in October. You can take. I see. Right. So I'm going to carry on with you, Jeannie, for the time being, because the fall was important. So she's saying that prayer is vital for you. Prayer and knowing that you are connected to whoever you connect with. Now, for her, I did feel it was the saints, but whoever you connect with, it has been a time for you of prayer, and knowing that your loved ones have received your thoughts and your kindness, and it helps them. It helped them on their journey. It helped them into the light. And so I'm not sure now if this was your grandmother. I've forgotten the relationship you had, or if it was your stepmother. I can't, but I know it's a motherly love for you. So she's saying, God bless you, and know that you are not alone. Okay, so Tarot with Ghost as well. I can see that you're saying that she prayed to the saints, well, the archangels actually, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, and of course Archangel Raphael, the great healer. So if you and if you can both take the fact that your prayers are being answered, they're being heard, and that that you do have a gift because of your nature, because of your lightheartedness in stressful situations, that you have a gift to, if you wish to, help people who are in either a hospital, a homebound situation, hospices, that they will appreciate your energy around them. And so thank you, Tarot with Ghost, for saying that Thanksgiving is your birthday the day after. I'm going to leave her love with both of you, because I feel that she is there are two women that have come forward today that are working individually with you that are very similar. And you in the audience have got very similar personalities. So I will say God bless and thank you, Jeannie. Yes, your father, I knew from what she said that your father died many years before. I did sense she was on her own, but she was a survivor and her sense of humour kept her going through difficult times. And so I will leave her love with you and say God bless. Before I move on to the next person. Thank you. I'm hearing the word serendipity. I'm not seeing anyone yet. I'm getting her energy is building up and she is laughing and talking about serendipity, which will mean something to someone in the virtual audience. The serendipity of life. So I will be linking with a person who has again a light-hearted message, a light-hearted view of life. You believe very much in synchronicity. Your spiritual faith. You may have come into this as a newcomer. I'm just going to say thank you, June, for your message, and I'm glad that several. I'm glad that several could take bits of it too. So this lady who is another young woman, did not reach old age, and she was very, very involved in life as right from her childhood days. She loved life. She threw herself into her school activities. And as I'm saying this, I know the person I'm going to link with is of a similar ilk, that you both have this love of life where school days were fun, and you threw yourself into every new stage of your life with great enthusiasm and joy. And the person I'm linking with, I believe is a female, but it's as I with Phil earlier, saying I was working with a lady. Sometimes we're a mixture of male and female energy, are we not? So if I say think I'm linking to a female in the audience, all of you males out there, please consider that you may be part of that female energy that we contain, and it's so lovely that we can be all things to all people at times in our life. So this young woman that's come through in her 40s, I believe, 40s, 50s, and bouncing in and saying that the person she's linking with has this vitality for life. And what you also have for the member of the audience, you have great compassion, because you know how you identify with how the school children and not just young school children, but all students, the impact it's having on them at the moment, because you know that school was so important to you and still is. So you may even be in that profession, the teaching profession, because of how strongly this is affecting you. You're feeling a sense of injustice that you understand the situation, the circumstances that we're placed in. I'm not saying you're critical of that, but you have that sense of injustice for the students that are being, some of them have been ignored, and you're a great promoter of education. So this is for someone in the audience that is an educator, may not necessarily do it as a living, but within your own family. I'm just going to say thank you to Tarot with Ghost that you smelled her cooking from Thanksgiving. That's lovely. I'm so pleased you got confirmation, and that is what really what Spirit have come in today with great love and joy to link with you and others, and to let you know you are not alone. And so, returning to this lovely lady with boundless energy and love of learning, I don't have anyone so far that has caught up on the typing link, but I await your message, because I know that this lady was very important to you. I feel like motherly love again, but perhaps an auntie, somebody that made a great impression on you when you were young, because you looked at her and she inspired you. This was before she was taken ill. She inspired you to have this love of life and knowledge of travel and widening your horizons. You knew there was more as a young child. You knew there was more to life than staying still in one community. So Joe, hello Joe, you're saying it all fits with you, and I'd love to know where you're living, because you've got a lovely background in the photo. Looks like a holiday snap, looks like you're having fun, and you do look, from your photo, you look very open and welcoming to people. And I feel that if I was in a situation where I needed to be uplifted, you would be the one to bring in your beautiful smile, and I would feel so much better. And if you are an educator, I'm sensing young children around you, then even if you're doing it as a mum, you do it wonderfully, and you have a gift. And if you are doing home education, please let me know, because this is very relevant to you. Oh, so you live in Richmond on the river. Oh well, now I'm very jealous, envious. I love Richmond, and I take myself there occasionally. There's a beautiful pub on the river there, and it's nice to get a table outside, isn't it? And I even did that before the real lockdown happened. I sat outside one evening under a heat lamp, freezing, just to have the feel of the water, the energy. And so, Joe, this young woman that is so close to you and bouncing in, she's not talking about how she passed. I don't believe she necessarily wants to labor on that, because she's wants to keep this as a joyous connection with you, to know that she appreciates the way that you are representing the family. She's very proud of family, the strong family bonds. She's saying it's important that you are, may not necessarily have always been supported by a wide family, that there possibly has been estrangements and movements geographically, but you have made your own family circle, and that can family circle can be your soul circle, not home education, your neighbours, your children. Yes, well, wonderful. So you that's what you do. You inspire people because of your enthusiasm for life. And so I've sort of lost my train of thought. So I'm getting the name of Beth coming in. Beth may be connected to her. I don't believe, I may have missed it, I'm not sure what relationship she is to you, but she was saying that your family connection does not necessarily, yes, your soul family, very strong, because we don't have to have a biological connection to have a family around us. We have the benefit of knowing and picking and choosing our friends, do we not? And we have and I know you have this strong link to spirit. So you have your spirit family who never ever let you down, who love you unconditionally, and I have to say would never. I think this lady's saying to me, would never wipe this smile off your face. So that's suggesting that there has been times in the past where people have been not so good to you, not kind, and have. I mean, I know when I started off by saying I'm jealous because you live in Richmond, and that's not a word I care to have in my vocabulary. So I feel that this lovely lady is saying that there has been jealousy around you, and that because you are so positive and upbeat, and so also tranquil times, you can relate to the teaching and other bits, but not the lady. That's absolutely fine. Whoever I want to, or whoever I can reach out to during this service, please take the parts that are relevant to you. So Joe, yes, true, unfortunately, that people have been jealous and tried to diminish your light. And this message for you is to say that well done for putting them in their right place, putting them out of your radar. I've been told that you appreciate the people that are best to have around, because you are being all very supportive of each other. And I know the way that you are a natural educator comes into your relationships, because you, whether it's by phone or Skype, you encourage them to keep going, because there's been a lot of hardship amongst your circle, I'm being told. So I think she is now pulling back. She's been delighted to connect with you, and thank you. Right, so, oh, is it? I'm being told this is the end. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Barbara. I think we've had a wonderful morning. So very inspiring for people with all the comments that I've seen. So thank you very much for joining us on Skype with our virtual audience congregation that we have, and I hope that you've enjoyed being with us. So that's really lovely.
Yeah.
Now I've a few notices, and then I will ask you to close in prayer if that's okay. So Richard, do you have anything on for later today? Okay, so that's always a good one. The VIP night is on at 8 o'clock. Readings, chat, support, and much more. And you can get to that via YouTube. Ah, right. Okay, development night. Sorry, I was looking at the YouTube underneath the SP. That's how it looks. No, that's okay. All right. Okay. Because I just thought, oh, it's YouTube. So people know, and it does say via Zoom in the bracket, so I can see that. I thought you were doing the two. I don't know enough about the technologies to know if you can do the two at the same time. And that's a lovely picture. Okay, no, that's all right. So for those of you that, if you've not yet joined being a VIP, the very important patrons, then do so, because there is so much that you can get to see with a spiritual psychic TV, that the contribution that Richard has made to keeping spiritualism going when so many churches are closed, and the work he does is so important, because as we had one of the people that was accepting the message say, can you see our messages? We can see the messages beautifully because of the way Richard has set it all up for us. So we can see your comments as half the screen. you don't see them when you're on YouTube, but we see them. So we're able, to not miss anyone and to be able to see everything that you say. And every time, you put a little heart or you put a little prayer and everything else on. So, and I'm seeing many people now thank us and Barbara and Richard for today's service. We are hoping to do some more activities and, so their emotion. So even if we manage to get out of a little bit of lockdown, then we will continue to do as much as we can. Now, Richard, is there anything else coming up other than for this evening? So we welcome Indigo back tomorrow. Is that in the evening, Richard? 3:45, which will be great. And I know my son Ashley, a bit of nepotism, but saying that he has a service as well on a Friday. So Alison is sort of, it's the next Friday, isn't it? Oh, that's it. All right, wonderful. Oh, and somebody's just asking me, Pamela Rogers is saying, where's Ray? Yes, I was going to mention that he's not feeling very well today. Nothing serious, he does suffer sometimes with his stomach, and so he's having a bad day. And we try and take it in turns anyway. So that's why, I thought you wouldn't mind seeing me today rather than Ray. But thank you for noticing that Ray hasn't shown his appearance. And Christine Wooden from Spain has been saying it's nice meeting you, Barbara. And she says, what you've said is lovely. So God bless you. So that's the Reverend Christine Wooden. That's one of our ministers, but living in Spain. She's been in Spain for a few years now. And, she's a really great friend to have as a minister. She was a healer trainer and a circle leader as well. And Cheryl Boxall is also saying thank you. So remember those events that we've mentioned that are on tonight, on Monday, and on Friday that we know. And then, just look out for all the other events that you can see, because if you look, you will find. And you will see exactly what is getting on. So thank you, Stacey, for saying, because he does need some healing. And thank you, June. So that's very much appreciated. So I'm going to ask Barbara if you would close for us.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. And thank you, everyone in the audience. I feel the love. I really do. And I appreciate your support. So please join me in the prayer. Divine Spirit, we thank you for today's service. We thank the Wimbledon Church for hosting this lovely event. We thank Spirit for the messages of love and support. Our loved ones have come forward to pass on to you today their upliftment and their cheer, and really reinforcing the need to take little steps each day to get forward, to go forward, to get through. Thank you for extending so much positive energy. And this energy will not be wasted. We will ask for our Spirit to extend it out to all who are suffering and who need to know that they are not alone. Stay well, stay safe, and most importantly, feel the love until we meet again in love and light. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you very much. Really lovely messages today, and Jeannie's back on saying lovely service and didn't expect her stepmother to come through. And that was some lovely evidence that Jeannie managed to have. And I just wanted to clarify again with Richard, because I know that I mentioned Dash's normal Friday night, and you said it's the second birthday. So will there be a series of different things on Friday night, Richard? Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Right. Lovely. So I'll speak to you as we finish the service. I think I've remembered all of our notices. And I'm just checking because say Ray normally is the chairperson more than me. So it's just for us to wish blessings on all of you for the week. Stay safe. Hope that as many of you get vaccines that, you know, that hoping so that we can all begin to get back to church. And once we've had second vaccinations, hopefully the spring will be here and we'll be able to be physically back in the church and see everyone, because the church family, you know, we're using that support virtually, but it'd be lovely to see you all back inside the church as well. So much looking forward to the spring. And thank you. And Anthony's saying thank you for the service. And we're nicely ending on the time that we normally end at 12, almost 12:30. So thank you very much, and thank you for all the healing to Ray. I will tell him, so many of you sending him healing. And, you know, we're not doing too bad, the two of us, but say sometimes, you know, and we're still, like many of you, all having sleeping problems where we're just not sleeping. We're sure we must be doing some work on the astral during the early hours of the morning, because so many other light workers say that they're either, you know, falling asleep at 2 or not, you know, or waking up at 2. So 2 seems to be a significant number. We'll have to have a conversation on sleeplessness and what we're actually managing to do in our sleep. So thank you all, and say God bless you all, and Barbara will join us again on another Sunday, I'm sure, in the distant future. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Take care.